Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks. Today, the Hungry Gamer is back with another episode of the Monthly Menu, and today we're talking about the top 5 games of February 2025. And as always, the way I do this is it is the games that I played the most during the month. And again, the way I do plays is just sessions where I sit down. So if you sit down and play one short game, maybe you play it back-to-back. To me, that counts the same as if I sat down and played one longer game. Additionally, I do count digital plays, but only if the digital plays were in real time. So asynchronous BGA games, don't count that. But a real-time game, I do count that, but if there's a tie, I count that as less than a physical game because that is more time and more effort to do. So, anyhow, before we get to that, let's talk about the picks for February. First, there was the list, and nope, didn't do it. Didn't even come close to doing it. We did some traveling, and I had a bunch of games I had to get reviewed because I'm about to start rehearsal for a play, and I'm not going to have as much time, so didn't come close to doing that. The next one is Kenfire Chronicles. That one, yes, I did get played. In fact, I actually managed to finish the entire campaign, and I put out a video kind of reflecting on the entire campaign now that I have finished. Next on the list was Iridia, and I did get to play kinda sorta. I got to play a single solo game where I was just doing the tutorial because I know I'm going to get to play it this month. I'm excited to play it this month, and we have some people coming out to play. My wife's willing to play, so I just kind of went through the tutorial mission one time to get a little bit of an understanding before we try to jump in. Next one on the list was Divinus, and that was the one that I got last year. I was really excited about, and I just didn't get it to the table, but I put it on my 5x5. Actually, Iridia is also on my 5x5, and yes, I did get it played. Actually, Original Don and I have played through 3 of the campaign games, and I'm pretty sure he's winning by a lot. It's kind of a cool thing that they do in this, in that you really don't know who is winning at all. So I find that pretty darn cool. Top games. So moving into the top 5 games of the month, coming in at number 5, we have Root. And I played this several times with Streamline Matt. It's one of his favorite games. It happened to be, I was traveling, had some time, he had some time. So we actually played a couple games of Root using the app, but played in real time. So for that, it comes at number 5. I think Root to me is, well, it's a good game. It's a little bit more than I usually like in that type of game, and it's not the type of game I like to play with anybody because people can get pretty aggressive, and I'm not very good. But I did have a good time playing this. I played with Skippy and Streamline Matt, and we played a competitive game, and we just got the floor wiped with us. But we came back, and then we did a co-op game, and I got to play my favorite lizards. I love the lizards. They are just the best faction in the world. And that was a lot of fun, and I actually played another, and then later on, just Matt and I, we played another co-op game, really kind of amping up the difficulty. And again, it really is a fun game. It's one of the few of this style games that are this heavy that I'm willing to play. The art, the cute helps, and the very unique characters obviously helps as well. So anyhow, that is Root, coming in at number 5. At number 4, we have Doomlings, and Doomlings is a game that I've had for a while. They asked me if I would cover it back in December or maybe late November, and I told them I'm happy to cover it, but I cannot do it until the new year. Well, I took it with me on my trip, and I got to play it several times with my wife and my brother, and I have a video on that coming relatively soon. This is in the same vein as a Red Dragon Inn style of kind of mean, fast, kind of take that, but it's got super cute art. It is very clever in its simplicity, and so the spoiler here is I'm going to be giving it a pretty good review if you like that sort of thing. Number 3 is the aforementioned Divinus. As I said, we played through several of the different campaign games. We're getting through it, and this is every bit as interesting as I remembered it being. It does have a little bit of that legacy game thing where you play a game and then you spend 20 minutes stickering stuff, and I'm okay with that, but it's definitely a thing, so I kind of have to, I'm going to have to start kind of pre-stickering before he comes over, I go over there, because it takes a while to do it, but the tile laying is good. The quests that are kind of being unlocked are very interesting. And so what this game is you are laying down tiles and using dice to draft tiles based on their number. So if you want to draft tile number 8, maybe you play two 4s to do that. Or maybe you have to play a 6, a 4, and a 2, because you have 6 plus 4 is 10, minus 2 is 8, that kind of thing. And then you're laying them down, making out a pretty little island. And the gimmick on this is, though, is some of the tiles are going to have little, I'm going to call them QR codes. They're not. They're just little circles with the symbol on it and a number, but you scan it like a QR code and it tells you what happens there. It gives you some choices and maybe gives you a prize, and there's quests, and the app's tracking all of the scoring, so you don't really know who's winning as you're going through, and I really like that in a campaign game. Which brings me to number 2. Number 2 is Cafe, and this is from Mr. B and Mayfair Games and another publisher, which I believe they're Portuguese, and I don't remember who it is, but the designers are Rolla and Costa. Can't forget that. And this is the first of a series of games that they have put out. And each of the series, my understanding is, builds upon the previous one in some small way. It takes a mechanic and that goes into the next one. And so the next one is about tinning sardines, but this one is about supplying cafes all over the world with, or I guess in Portugal, with the coffee beans that they need. And to do this, you're doing tile laying. You're laying the cards down, and on these different cards, these tiles, they have spaces to grow the coffee, to dry the coffee, to roast the coffee, and then cafes to send the coffee. And you're going to be getting actions as you're laying these tiles down, and each of these actions, and you get more actions based on little coffee cups on the tiles, but you have to cover things up every time. So every time you put down a new card, you're covering up something good on the old ones. And because it is a methodical thing, you have to spend an action to grow the beans, spend an action to take them to dry the beans, and so on and so on. It really comes down to the placement of things, because you can kind of double up actions if they're next to each other. It is very simple to play, but it's really clever. This is not like an exciting game, but it's a good game, and I played quite a bit of it, and it travels easily, so I'm actually really high on it, and I'm looking forward to trying the next one about tinning sardines. I just haven't gotten to that one yet. Which brings us to number 1, and that is clearly Kinfire Chronicles. As I said, I finished the campaign, and so I don't know, I think I registered 4 plays, because I took like a couple weekend days and a couple evenings, and I just sat down and played multiple scenarios. I think the last session, I actually played like 4 games in a row. So I played a lot of Kinfire Chronicles. I'm not going to go into it too much other than say it's a very satisfying end. I thought a little bit in the middle of the campaign it started to slow down. I was like, okay, I see what's going on, and then suddenly it just picked up a very creative quests and surprises and all of that. So Kinfire Chronicles came in at number 1. Very satisfying. Which brings us to the picks for March. And so I'm going to start out with the list is going to stay on there. Maybe. Canadian Kev is actually visiting. He's involved in this play that I'm doing. And there's a couple games on the list that really kind of need more than just 2 players. So I'm thinking maybe we can knock one of those out, hopefully sometime. But also rehearsals and stuff, so it might not happen. My next pick I've left on the list, and that is SETI. Really want to play that, just didn't get to it, even if it's just a solo game. Next on the list is one that's been on the list before, and that is The Reckoners. And this was actually on my 5x5 last year. I succeeded in that one, and I really enjoy this one. I am 99.999% sure I'm playing that game tonight. But nonetheless, I really want to, so it's on the list. Next one on the list is, again, Iridia, which I'm positive I'm going to play that, but I really, really want to play it, so that's why I stay on the list. The last one is one that I've only played once or twice, and it comes from IV Games, and I really want to play more of it, and that is Moon Rollers. That is the roll and flip and roll, like, I don't know what you call it, push your luck dice game that's set in the Moonrakers universe, and I got to check it out at PAX, or maybe it was Gen Con, one of the two, and it was kind of fun. And they offered to send me a copy, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And I haven't gotten to dig into it yet. But not only that, they were kind of sending me a bunch of extra copies, so when I hit my 8,000 subscriber mark, I actually have some copies to give away. And like I said, I played it once with Manic Mark. Really fun. really clever, and I'm really looking forward to playing it again, so hopefully I'll get that played as well soon. So those are my picks for March 2025. Now, I'll try to keep this as short as I can, but thank you to my sponsor, Noble Knight Games. For those of you who are not aware, they are a game store. I believe they're somewhere in the middle of the country, America, and they sell used and new games. They are a great place to buy new games. You get pre-orders, they come in, they're good prices. But what really makes them stand out is it's a great place to find used games. Now, sometimes those used games are real expensive if they're real rare, but you can find a lot of stuff that maybe you've been looking for a long time, or stuff that is out right now and you just get it for a little bit of a better price as a resale. And I've been using them for years and years and years, long before they were kind enough to become a sponsor for me. Now, for your understanding, being a sponsor, it means they send me some store credit every month. And I have an affiliate link down in the description of every video, which means if you want to buy something, if you start on that link, then I get a little more store credit. It doesn't cost you anything. And I've used that to cover several games on the channel. Most recently, I believe, was River of Gold, and a bunch of others I've talked about here and there, like Barbarians I've talked about, and I just got a big old stack of stuff in. Some expansions for Sagrada, expansion for Takenoko. Again, these are older games. I was able to just find a nice, decently priced expansion, and so on and so on. So there will be more things coming to the channel from that. Anyhow, check them out if you are interested. More importantly, thank you to the channel members. You again, as always, see them zipping along the bottom of the screen. Thank you to all of you. And if you are curious in doing that, I only pitch this really once a month. The low level is under $1 a month, and you get to see advanced videos and things like that. Sometimes you get input on things. Then there's at the mid level, you get more advanced videos, and you always have the option of requesting a specific type of videos. At one point, we had people curious about kind of what was coming in, made videos about that. You can request reviews. You can request reviews of certain games, etc., etc. And at the top tier, you have all the other things. You'll get more advanced videos, and I'll play a game digitally with you every month. Your choice of how we do that. Or I guess if you're local, we'll play in person too, but I don't want to limit a level to just being local. Anyhow, thank you so very much to all of you for supporting the channel. I am not so tacky as to say I could not do it without you, because I did it before I had the membership program for several years, but it does make things easier. Specifically, thank you to the channel members, because of you, we have the Beatrice the Board Game Dog cam, which was a silly idea, but man, it really, really was fun, I thought, and people really enjoyed it. So, in any event, thank you very much for supporting the channel. In any event, this video is getting a little bit long, so I will just end by saying, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.